Dedicated and motivated. Two words you want your team described with. How do you get there? With good leadership. My name is Matthew Lariviere. Today we're going to talk about being a better leader. So, what is a leader? A leader is somebody who inspires or guides a team to accomplish a certain mission, task, or goal. As you can see, I've worn many different hats and been called a leader in many different situations. But just being in charge doesn't make you a leader. What does it take to be a leader? Well, there's three main competencies for you to be even considered one in the first place. You have technical skills, which is your on-the-job knowledge. For example, if you're running a nursing department, you're going to want to know what a nurse does, or else you're not going to be able to answer those questions on their daily tasks. 2, human skills. That's your ability to relate with others. That leans real heavy on your EQ. If you have somebody in charge of a team and nobody likes them, probably a low chance that somebody will be inspired to follow them. And 3, conceptual skills. That's your ability to look at the vision of the organization at large and be able to communicate that down to the frontline workers. They tend to be focusing on getting the job done that day, and they don't necessarily know the big why as to why they're doing it. That's your job to answer it. So, knowing that all these components are tied in, does that really make you a leader, or does it make you a boss? So a boss is somebody who hits those quotas and those goals and gets the job done every day. But a leader is somebody who inspires and builds that intrinsic motivation with their team and develops them on a personal level. So let's get into it. Transparency. If you want to be a better leader, you always need to be transparent. Well, what does that mean? First of all, don't gatekeep. If you get new knowledge or information down the chain from above you, unless it's harmful to the organization or to an individual's personal information, give that information up. Tell your team. Nobody likes to be kept in the dark. 2, don't be sneaky. As somebody who's in charge, there'll often be times where you make decisions that don't necessarily need the input from the team. However, it's okay to let them know what's going on. Your future visions and your plans should be out on display for them to be able to buy into it and trust your decision-making abilities. Number 3, be honest and forthcoming. A big example of this is if a team member comes up to you and asks a question and you don't know the answer, it's okay not to know the answer. They'll have more trust in you with you being honest than if you tell them something that you may have guessed, or I'll get back to you, and then you never do. 4th, give feedback on the spot. What that means is don't let it fester and boil over when somebody's not doing something the way that they should be doing it or meeting your expectations. Now, if you can't always do that on the spot, a notebook is the biggest thing a leader can have. When you see something you don't like, flip that bad boy open and write it down on the spot. You'll be able to later on sit them down and reference exactly what it was you were thinking about in order to correct it to avoid future mistakes. Next up, maybe even bigger than transparency, empathy. Empathy is your ability to put yourself into somebody else's shoes. Sympathy is meaning you've been there before. Empathy takes a bit more training, and it can be trained up. Your team is going to come to you sometimes with personal issues that you need to help resolve because everybody's led their own story up to that point. Empathy is what's going to get you there to build that deep-rooted, emotional, trusting bond with each member of your team. Leading into the next point, be reliable. Your team's never going to want to go through a tough situation where when the going gets hard, you get gone. It doesn't work. You need to be accountable at all times for the decisions you make and maybe for the decisions that your team makes. You are the leader, of course. And finally, be true to yourself. Every person you're leading is a human, and we're very good at seeing when somebody's not being genuine. You lead the way you lead because you've led your story up until that point. Although there are many inspiring leaders to look up to, that doesn't mean you need to be them. Be you. Well, moving forward from today, I'm hoping you can be a better leader using your new toolkit of transparency, empathy, reliability, and being genuine. Thank you for your time today, and I hope moving forward you get to build those new trusting, lasting relationships in order to better your organization.